Peace and love, everyone. This is Noble Isaiah L, and I'm going to give you a forecast from May 25th to May the 31st. Okay, so yesterday was actually the beginning of the forecast start. I couldn't get to the recording. There was a lot taking place yesterday. Um, however, you had the moon and Mars in a trine. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and I'm going to give me 1 second. Let me see. Okay, so yesterday we had the moon actually in a trine, and I'm going to go ahead and animate this and go back a day. So May 25th, we had the moon in Cancer at 13 degrees, okay, actually trining Mars, okay, at 8 degrees in Pisces. Okay, so uh, Cancer, okay, Mars in Cancer, I'm sorry, the moon in Cancer in harmony with Mars in Pisces in the third house. So you had yesterday, the moon being in Cancer is home. It loves to be in Cancer. This is where the emotions are actually coming into harmony and in alignment with how we're actually viewing contracts and relationships. But the harmonious aspect between the moon and Mars and Pisces, um, as you can see, Mars, when it's in this water planet, it's a fiery, hot planet. And when it's in this watery sign, this is actually where a lot of that uh, heat and that hot energy is being cooled off. So to some degree, Mars doesn't really like to be in this position, but we see that um, when it comes to communication, things can be fiery. Okay, and with the moon ruling the stomach and then Cancer ruling the stomach, this is where you actually see how people were interacting with each other and letting their emotions out and speaking from the gut. Okay, from their second birth, the second mind. Okay, um, and going with their intuition. Okay, the intuitive thought processes. So yesterday was very good for tending to your kindred and to your immediate family. And also, this was very a strong point, a very good aspect for taking the courage to communicate what needs to be said and those things that are hidden. Okay, when you have Pisces, you're dealing with two ends of the spectrum, the things that are seen and unseen. So this was a good time to bring up the things that were hidden and things that were not on the surface. And you get a chance to go deep with the moon in Cancer and speak your mind, what's in your gut, what you've been feeling this entire time. And Mars gives you the strength or the courage to take action and actually speak those things that you notice, that you've seen, that you were not able to. Okay. So today is Tuesday, but heading towards May 28th, we can go ahead and scroll through. This is another big aspect where we have Mercury transitioning into Cancer. Okay, and as you can see here in the seventh house, Mercury has transitioned into Cancer at 0 degrees. And with Mercury being here in Cancer, this is a very prominent time for interactions and communications, but this is more of the sensitive um, style of communicating. You got to be very careful what you're saying and even what you're thinking, because if you're not careful, you can allow your emotions to rule your mindset and the way that you're thinking and the things that actually come out of your mind. Okay, and they say what comes out of the mind comes out of the heart. Okay, so you gotta be very careful, and we see that is in the seventh house, dealing with contracts, unions, spouses, what they call marriages, but we like to say unions because that's more proper. And as you see, Mercury in Cancer, this is actually um, where if you're not careful, you can actually give off the vibe or the actions of passive aggressiveness. Okay, And you definitely have to make sure that you are using your intuition, your perception, feelings, and this is actually where you are transitioning from Mercury being in Gemini, okay, where you're communicating from the mind, to Mercury transition into Cancer. You're communicating from your emotions, and you are expressing your um, intuition and your intuitive thought processes. So, two different shifts from two different minds. Uh, one ruled by the mind in Gemini, and then one ruled by the second brain or the second mind in Cancer. So then, when you look at um, Mercury will go retrograde next month, and it will stay there a little longer than it normally does. Normally stays uh, retrograde and goes into Cancer for about 3 weeks. This time is going to last until August, so um, just be on the lookout for that. And this is a lot of different emotions and a lot of different communications coming into play. When you look at uh, the negative sides of Mercury and Cancer, this is a lot of tears. This is a lot of stinking thinking. This could be a lot of um, uh, passive aggressive language and action. So just be mindful of that. But on the bright side, you actually can use your intuition to help you when coming to contracts. Okay, be very, very careful. Read the fine print in contracts. We see that the sun is in Gemini that deals with communicating, expressing, and writing and dancing and singing. But that's in the sixth house, okay, in community. Um, but you definitely want to take into consideration Venus retrograde in the seventh house of Gemini. And you also want to take into consideration Mercury, okay, again, in Cancer. A lot of things that you're doing contractually, whether it be a legal contract or legal disputes or in relationships or unions. This is the beginning of the social houses or the social quadrant in astrology. Um, and this is dealing with the abstract of the mind, right? Seventh through ninth house. So this is dealing with how your mind perceives things and how you actually take action from the mind. And this is where, since Mercury is prominent for the mind, you're actually learning how to go with your gut instinct this transit. And this will be prominent throughout this whole week. So I hope this was able to help you all and help everyone to um, get a gauge of how this week is going to go. Stay uh, tuned until next week. We're going to go over the next transit. Peace and love.